Okay, let's go. Round 2.
Dun dun dun.
Okay.
Do I start?
Yeah. You had a question, no?
Yes, I had a question. Yeah. Because last time, at least I think I was able to figure out what you had more in mind. No, it's not theorizing about what society should be like, but given this present society, how does one what's the playbook for a person to succeed, or maybe that's not the best word, but
Succeed and be a good man.
Succeed and be a good man. Okay, yeah. Now I have this question because if, as we said last time, if we're allowing for us a certain playbook different from everybody else for this particular group of people, the psychopaths, because as you said, with any society, there always will be psychopaths. There will always be people who will not be willing, either not able or not willing to play by the rules. And how do we, what do we have for them? Because we can't just let them, I don't know, parang walang, yeah. Okay, the thought was, let's say we were able to give them a different playbook. Okay, very good. But in the eyes of everybody else, they will still be cheaters because why is this? This is unfair. Why are we playing? We're law-abiding, so, etc. And these people are bending or even breaking the rules, and they get away with it. And then they justify it because on the grounds that they're special, they're psychopaths, not like us normies. So, putting it in more concrete terms, for example, if you have this local government official who feels himself to be a datu, he might not that he pretends to be a datu, but that it just never occurs to him that he's not a datu. Parang it's his way of being. And then the people around him also treat him like that. So it doesn't. It's only very natural to him that he's an actual datu. So let's say he engages in all sorts of practices condemned by liberal democracy, like political alliances. No, so he it's like his descendants will always. It's already a given that his descendants would inherit power from him, or nepotism, where he's playing favorites. No, the patronage system. What else? Let's push it even further. No, mas malala pa. Let's say he engages in graft, so he really favors certain people in exchange for material compensation, money. In the eyes of the law, because there will be, for example, well, I don't think there's any law yet prohibiting political dynasties, which I don't think is. I mean, because political dynasties, I don't think are bad in themselves, although they are undesirable from the point of view of liberal democracy, because it's like you're anointed. It's like you're there's a privileged class, but graft, and that's a starker example. This guy engages in graft. The people around him, including himself, take it as something given. It's according to their playbook. The others, investigators, maybe someone from outside the town, would come in and notice this, and then investigate, prosecute him, and he's put in jail. In short, for even if they have they have their own playbook, how this guy who's now in jail, he hasn't really succeeded, has he? We gave him the playbook, but he got away with it for some time. But then people come after him eventually, just because he's special, that he's not. So I was wondering about that practical implication.
So I have a question, like, who actually enforces the laws?
Well, in theory, the state. So, well, he is part of the state.
Yeah, in reality, these are the people who enforce the law. I mean, it's in the.
Right.
I mean, if you rewind back to like prior to the nation state.
Okay.
So it was just the datu who this was the law.
Right.
And then now we have this belief that the nation state is this like abstract thing, or which is like detached from like the actual people. No, but in reality, it's like it's still people
That's
who enforce the law.
That's true, which is why I'm
Mm.
thinking within that certain town or city, maybe wala, status quo. No? He gets away with it. Everybody else plays along because it's their. Ano.
Yeah. So
If someone from outside, though,
Mm.
for example, because unlike before, the local datu maybe could be part of, maybe he knows the other datus, sure. But there's no oversight really. He's the
Yeah.
king within his own area. But now, for example, a city mayor who's engaging in certain practices,
Mhm.
or a barangay captain, who what have you, there will be higher officials, at least according to government position, who could, well, in theory, look into his case. And
Yeah.
then,
So now we're assuming that those higher officials are like a different kind of person. No, but it's still it's fractal. So those other higher guys are just the same kind of person
Right.
playing on a bigger scale.
Okay.
It's all the way up to the president.
Okay.
No, so
okay, granted.
no.
Although, what about those guys who claim to be warriors for good governance, things like this? So, if you have a person in higher office who is like this, or at least striving to be, then he'll go after all these other guys.
Yeah, I support those guys.
Ah,
I support those guys. I think
okay.
they should more of them should exist.
okay.
No,
Okay.
like and that is how
To clean up.
I mean, if you look at
the system in their view.
the
At least.
evolution of what you call this, the current solution, the nation state, liberal democracy, laws, institutions like the judiciary and separation of like the powers, these were created by idealists.
Okay.
No, and if you've read Dominion, the influence of the event of Christ on the culture and the minds of people throughout history is like it's a clear, what you call this, change in how society worked,
Right.
because of a story and the implications of that story.
Okay.
No, so it's like people throughout the centuries would see, hey, there's something wrong here. We need to change this.
Okay.
We
Yes.
need to end slavery.
Right.
We need to stop this. Colonialism turns out is bad, or they also said, okay, we have to colonize because we have to influence these
civilize.
people to
Ayan.
make them Christian. I mean, they're practicing ritual sacrifice, slavery, and all that. We have to end that. And
Yes,
then
that's,
there's this book called Passion and Revolution. Have you read that book?
no, I haven't.
It's not very nice because it's an analysis of like how the Philippine Revolution used the Christian story and language to understand themselves as the victims, that there's an injustice of colonialism, and then we see ourselves as like the ones who are like Christ being persecuted. So there is it's a way of like creating a sense of like unity, of being of receiving injustice, and therefore we have to fight that injustice as a nation or something like that.
What's the title again?
Passion and Revolution. It's in the Philippine cultural literature is quite
Okay.
seminal.
Okay. Written by
Ileto.
Leto. Okay, wait.
Mm.
I'll take note. Thanks.
Yes, and so anyhow, so there's like a. So the question isn't like, again, it's like what's the right system? It's like, what is the current system and how should we operate within it? I think that's the question I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, how come I have this tendency to think that way, but the most of like people I talk to always tend to think about like what is the ideal system. No, but like I think it was all those years of playing Chikicha. Have you played that game? It's a local version.
Chikicha?
It's a local kind of poker,
No, not yet.
or any card game.
Okay.
Because when you play a card game, I think it's a way of practicing a kind of like mental discipline
Okay.
that you don't think about what's the ideal set of cards.
Uh,
So it's like you're given a set of cards, you have a set of rules, and you have to win. That's
okay,
basically it.
Okay.
no?
Okay.
So right now, I'm just, I couldn't, it's pointless for me to think about what's the ideal system. It's like, what's the reality right now? What's the system right now? My goal is to win and to be a good man while doing it. And what is the solution? And then, and what I said is like, okay, this thing of the ethics, the social ethics that we learned doesn't seem to work. And then all the options is like either, okay, I just opt out of this game because my ethics doesn't really like allow me to play it, or doesn't allow me to win in it. Or perhaps my ethics is not really dictated by what is perennially true, but what has been like is the ethics of a certain time, which is this time that we live in now. The ethics of, I think, the traumas of World War II really formed the ethics that we have right now.
Okay, I see.
And like, for instance, the fear of power, the fear of the big man. These are all consequences, I think, of World War II, the trauma of World War II and the Holocaust.
And which don't have to be, they're not necessarily the only instantiations of those perennial principles, you mean?
Yes,
I mean, this is super specific now, which may not be true, I mean, which may have been useful for the past decades, but not now?
Yeah, it's a good experiment. I think it's a better system than the past.
Oh, okay.
You know, I told you I'm a true believer in liberal democracy.
Right.
No? But it's like, I don't know how to explain this. Like, I believe in the system, but at the same time, in the real game, it's like, because the system isn't what is presented as the rules.
I see, yeah.
It is the actual...
How you're actually living it in your circumstance.
Yeah, so there are parts of the system which is not part of the rule book. So the failures of the system is part of the system. No?
Okay.
So the failures of liberal democracy is part of the system of liberal democracy.
Okay.
No, they're not like, because for instance, you could not police the policemen.
Okay.
No, there has to be some end there.
Okay.
But there's really no like who will, like, this separation of powers is supposed to be that. But you know, you couldn't also, you can spend all your time policing.
Okay.
No, so you will have to have, any system will have to have like a tolerance for failure.
Okay.
And a part of a good system is that the failures won't destroy it.
Okay.
So it works within the system.
I can see that, yeah.
So now, people, the psychopaths who were born, who will always be born, will always seek to, since they are not limited by taboo, they will have a tendency to operate, so to win. So they will do anything to win,
including bending the rules,
including breaking the rules. Since it's not a problem for them, because if you're thinking like a normie, it's like you feel anxious when you break rules. It's just like how most people are.
Okay.
No, because like that's how societies would not be stable without if majority are not like that. So majority have to be like that.
Okay.
But there will be no progress in society if everyone's like that. Everyone will just be, let's stick to what we know. No, in the world of David Deutsch, this is what he calls static societies.
Okay.
So all of like archaic societies before this dynamism of like seeking truth, modeling the world based on truth rather than just based on custom. Like let's not break our customs. We have to continue doing what has been done in the past. Otherwise, the world will end. No, something like that. Because it's actually true.
I see.
archaic
As you know it,
societies they didn't figure out what human nature was. Like it's like this is like we have something that's work here. We've seen other groups, they descended into chaos and they ended. But we have something here, so let's just continue with our customs. We don't know why they work, but they work. So those are like static and dynamic societies. So what was I reacting at in talking about that? I was distracted by David Deutsch.
You were mentioning about the system. That's not about the system. That you're not sure why people keep reverting to this topic, even though you're really concerned about how someone is able to succeed.
Yeah. So maybe it's just like some sort of like epistemic bias, like the way you think about things.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, my point was not really going back to discussions about an ideal system, because I think we talked about last time that the system we have all has its flaws. It's not the only way to live by those perennial principles. But the thing that you mentioned, I think, is interesting. That any system will need to have a certain tolerance for failure. That's, I think, a good point. Because what I was trying to say was, if you have this I was referring to. I was trying to get at the consequences.
Another one is like the playbooks, because people are free.
Okay.
They are free to use any playbook. We couldn't impose any playbook on people. We just like the laws are there and customs are there, culture is there to constrains people's like options. How you could play life. Like so we have laws against murder, so that to discourage people from killing each other. So there are consequences. So, but the thing is, people could still kill other people. Of course, they have to face consequences. So even these guys, like politicians, they are playing a high risk, high reward, high stakes game. Because it's like who are among the people you know? I don't know if this is you experience this, but the people you know who have been to jail are either the poorest or the richest among your friends. I don't know. It's like the ones who know about like for instance, if you want to find a guy to do some sort of like illegal or maybe possibly illegal things, who do you ask? It's not your like fellow professors or whatever. It's like it's either your friends in the streets, who are like whatever, like thieves there, low level thieves.
I see.
Or they are like high level thieves, like the politicians or whatever. It's like the ones who operate. So those are like the ones operating sort of like within outside the law. So
either the ones in charge or the ones people don't really care about.
Yes, exactly. So most people like us who are like just playing the game safely, we don't know we don't have the resources to play the game at the edges. But the ones who are who have difficulty playing this game, like you don't have the education, you don't have like even the language. So I mean, you don't have a choice, but you have to play at the edges of the game. And also those whose life's calling is to gain immense power and immense wealth. One way is actually to play. The best way to me is to play through contribution of knowledge and creating value. Science, technology, entrepreneurship. Creating something new, building a business. I mean, it's an anti-sacrificial way to create wealth. You're not like stealing. You are creating value. That's why the world is richer now, wealthier now than the past. Because in the past you need to just take wealth from others.
Someone else.
You have to enslave. You have to conquer. But because of like the creation, because of science and technology, like the truth of science, of the world, the truth of technology, engineering, like transforming that knowledge into machines and to encoding them
usable.
in objects, the knowledge into objects. So you have created wealth, but still, there will be some people whose talents are in, who could create wealth only through the old way, which is through power.
Okay.
And before, I used to be very against those people, but I think they are also, you have to give them a pathway for salvation.
Okay, I see.
And then I think the world will always have those power games, and the playbook is like you have to give them. It's like, how do you sanctify that game? How do we what was is there a Christ-like version of that game? No, but in liberal democracy, there's nothing like that. It's like,
right.
You couldn't.
Which is what I'm worried about, because if you try to play like that within liberal democracy, people will really go after you. I mean, maybe
They
not
should.
now, but
They should.
eventually. They should.
They should, yeah.
Because,
That's part of the game.
I see. Because
Otherwise, everyone will be playing it. If there's no danger, everyone will play it, even the normies. So you have to put some barrier, so only the psychopaths could actually play it.
I see. So you mean, because I was thinking, if you allow for certain people to bend the rules, it's, well and good if they're able to get away with it. But if they don't, then
that's part of it.
Okay.
You don't allow it. That's part of it. It's not allowed. There has to be consequences. There has to be rules against it.
Okay. I think I get the point now. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Certain people breaking the rules is part of the
system.
the game. Okay.
That's part of the system.
It's already expected.
Yeah. Any system will be gamed.
Okay, I think I'm not able to articulate, but I think I get it. Yeah.
So any system will be gamed. Therefore, you want a system that won't break when it's gamed.
Okay, that tolerance for diversions. Okay.
There has to be consequences.
Still,
but
yeah.
A society cannot spend its energies just policing. No?
Okay, I get it. Interesting.
So now I think what's missing right now is I don't have enough. I'm sensing this. There's an answer outside of this epoch, this world we're living now. And so I think a better, rather than giving, for instance, my friends who are playing this game, rather than throwing at them this what you call this ethics of this world, this, you have to do this, you have to
you're forcing them into this
it's
box.
The thing is they will not listen even.
Okay.
But if I give them figures in the past, so outside of this world, who are examples of people who have succeeded in the game of power, in the game of wealth, in the old school game of wealth, but at the same time they are good people. So maybe that's a better option. There's a pathway for them to actually be good people, but at the same time transgress the current rules.
And with that transgression, accepting the risk that everyone might probably go against you someday.
Yeah, that's not a problem for them.
Okay.
If you know these people,
all right.
It's it's not. It's just the way they are. Now, if you know these people.
So if I were to give an example, if you have this mayor who's let's just say practices graft on a regular basis, but he uses his position of power to help to develop the city. He looks out for his constituents, etc. So you could look at him as a good ruler, although he transgresses those rules set down by liberal democracy.
Yes. So even your usage of graft, you're already possessed by this spirit of liberal democracy.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Because from everyone else's point of view, he is transgressing some rule.
not everyone, because but look at the who
not
like,
everyone, right?
most people actually understand what I'm talking about, except those who speak and grew up with English.
Okay.
Because if you speak in the vernacular, I sense that you still have the mental model of the old world. So that's why you there's a correlation between the what language you speak and who you vote for. No?
Interesting. Okay.
So because your mental model is still like, we live in the world of datus and mga sakop.
Okay, I see.
So we go. So if you live in that world, and I lived in that world for more than a year in writing my novel, so I sort of I now get it. Like how the datus thinks, and how there's so the sakop. You're not beholden to one datu actually. In the past, you're like I'll go to the guy who will win. So it's sort of like in the elections, you pick your manok. It's like okay, this, and then you're not basing it on like
who follows the rules best, etc.
Exactly, but the thing is, like for instance, the ones who voted for Lenny, and if like, I would have voted for her if I were registered. So now it's like like saying that, like a lot of people will feel like like why are you not voting? It's a long story, but but the thing is like the ones who vote for her, it's not like we don't have the same, what you call this, judge or framework or like a way of viewing what is right and wrong, or like selecting as the ones who voted for Duterte or Marcos, for instance. In general, I mean there are, I mean, people come in all sorts of like epistemic frameworks or like ethical frameworks. But in general, like if you hang out with people the mass of people who voted for Duterte, it's they what you call this, they tend to speak more in the vernacular.
Okay.
So I think that means that the mental models are also vernacular. It hasn't been as thoroughly modeled by liberal democracy as English. Like when you think in English, you're already thinking in the values of liberal democracy. But if you think in Binisaya, for instance, I mean, because like what you call is if you look at the Chronicle of Pigafetta, you listed down like maybe 100 to 200 words in Cebuano.
Okay.
I still understand most of them. So my guess is the way they thought in that world in the past 16th century Cebu.
Still persists.
The same. It's like if you remove all the Hispanic words and the English words in my head, I will think like them. So my mind will be modeled. So democracy won't mean anything. It's me, but dato means something.
Oh, okay.
Utang kubut-on means something. Like what's that in Tagalog? Utang na loob. Those kaluoy. Mercy.
Yep.
Gaba. Gaba. So that's gaba is a very, what you call this, meaningful thing, even now.
Okay.
Retribution or like cosmic retribution. So in that world, so it's like you're just looking for. So now we're playing this game of democracy. It's like we're supposed to be, we should be imported, and then you're selecting who you're voting for. So the ones, if you look at the marketing campaigns or the, what you call this, political campaigns. So Lenny was like,
good governance, the rule of law.
So it's like this. It speaks to someone who thinks in English. So,
especially university students, mostly voted for her.
Yeah, university students. So people who have been, what you call this, programmed
Educated.
Educated. I mean, education is programming
Okay.
in a certain way of. So when people say the solution is education,
Okay.
so they have been programmed in a certain way. This English-speaking liberal democracy mindset, and there are other things like these people also have to be programmed
Okay.
in the way I have been programmed. So, I mean, I sort of agree with that. I think this is a better programming.
Okay.
You know, this is but the thing is, like, the reality is, like, I don't know as well. Maybe it's not as well. I'm not sure now. No, maybe the vernacular programming might still be okay. You know, I don't know. I'm still thinking about that because also, again, it's like that's not the situation.
Just to be clear, this isn't, in your view, this isn't simply the tug of war between idealists and realists, no? Not simply that.
What do you mean by this?
Because, for example, normally idealists would prefer this system that governs everyone the same. But the realist would excuse his behavior as of transgressing these rules. Because you're too idealistic. That will never work. And
No, I think
there's always this elbow room
not
for me
everyone
to
should be
move
idealists.
Oh, okay.
No, because you need idealists to change the system to something better.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, that's not everyone's job.
Right. And in any case,
Because
I don't think
these
there's
guys
any
these
one
guys
system
won't-
for
won't-
everyone.
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't think there's any one system that fits every society. We could really, if what you're getting at is that maybe we have this pre-liberal democracy framework might be a better fit for us. I think this pluralism is healthy because not all societies would function according to a liberal democratic framework. I think this is a commonly held position.
But I think it's a better system
So
than the old world.
Oh. You still think it's a better system as a system for the Philippines, and yet you allow for
everyone.
For everyone.
Yeah.
But
The archaic system is worse, actually. It's like
Okay.
but the thing is,
but
like,
behavior-wise, you can allow for a certain subset of people.
no, I don't have any power to allow or disallow. I'm just saying this
I mean,
is
you
a better
approve of
system.
them.
But most people, because the thing is, like, for it to work perfectly, you have to educate everyone.
Which is impossible.
I don't know. I mean,
Or undesirable.
I don't know. It's like, I don't know if it's just not how it is right now.
Okay.
You know. So a lot of the operating systems in people's heads are still the old,
Okay.
16th century system. If you think in the English system, you look down on that. No, it's like, and I might even. But the thing is, like, that's the reality.
Okay.
No, but if I think in the, like, now speaking English, I have my English
Vocabulary.
liberal democracy system on. I'm like, okay, this is superior than the old system. This has produced a better world than the old system. But at the same time, that's not how do you actually play in this actual game? So right now, like, you led me into thinking about, like, systems wise, which is, like, I think really it's a waste of time for someone in my position who has no power to actually change it.
I get it.
And also, my calling is not to be that idealist who wants to change the system.
I see.
So some people, that might be their calling in life, and some people should do that.
Okay. I think my original point was addressed already. Because I was just worried about, hypothetically, let's say there's this group of people who really have a different playbook, and we are encouraging them, let's say, because there will always be people like this, and you need them for society to progress. My reservation was, okay, even if we support them, we allow them and support them, the rest of society might go after them still. But then you're saying that this risk is something they don't really mind. It's part of it. They willingly take that risk on, and the game itself also allows for there's a certain tolerance for transgression. the system will still go after them, but that's part of the game.
Mhm.
Okay, I think I get that, and we can move on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So you were talking about this different. Maybe there's a way to, if I got it right, to go back to more premier principles. You give these people a different model. People in the past, people of power, who were good to look up to, and to serve as their guides or
Yeah.
playbook.
Yeah.
I see.
Because right now, like I interviewed a former congressman, and it seems it's a very practical way when they learn how to play this game. So they
You interact with people.
yeah, they learn from other politicians.
Okay.
They sort of become an apprentice. You know, so they
Uh-huh.
have like a mentor, something like that. Like very informal. And
then that reality is different from what
yeah, it's so
It's on
the
paper.
game, the language even is very different from the ideal that you are taught in school. So
or in the Constitution.
yeah, so, and then you are especially repelled because it goes against your values or the values you've been taught.
Okay.
So now, like, since these are learned through, like, it's like a practical skill, I think it's just better that the ones playing that game would be given other playbooks other than
I
like
get that.
what's working. So they could have expand their imagination. They could expand their imagination outside of the current playbook.
It's just,
The playbook's working. There are variations of that playbook, but if you could see a Christian version of that playbook,
I see.
I think it's better for them as people, and better, yeah.
Since we spoke about a pre-liberal democracy playbook, what do you think about chivalry?
I haven't
There's
got
that interesting
yeah.
book you sent me.
Yes, I haven't read it yet, so
okay,
that's why I'm gonna read it.
It's a long book, but yeah.
Yeah, so like, because like, the thing is, like, I'm interested in that because they were able to solve that problem.
Right. It's a different way of looking at human behavior, not according to a system of, written rules like what we have.
Yeah, because like our maybe because of like mass education, we have been educated, or education is designed for normies. Now,
Okay.
but prior to mass education, all education has been designed for rulers. If you look at Art of War, like the books about that you read from Rome, these are all books written for people who will be in power. So
which does make sense because they were the more literate ones.
exactly, they were the only literate ones. So
You have your private tutor to
exactly. So the tutors were designing their education, their learning objectives, to create
a wise ruler.
wise rulers.
I
No?
see.
Because if you are like a philosopher in the past, that's like your biggest problems. Like, how could we solve all these bad things here? Well, we have to fix the ruler. No, but now education is really more of like, how do you make good citizens? So, but what makes a good citizen, or the education that makes a good citizen, may not be the education that makes a good ruler. No? I think,
Good, interesting point.
diba? And then these people who go into power across generations of the same family, I mean, that might be the reason why, because they have special education within their family, like how they're raised.
Apprenticeship.
Yeah, apprenticeship. How to
Natural
be a good ruler, which it's different from what you're taught in how to be a good citizen. No, so
And this is even the case. This is still the case even with, well, because one can argue that for these good rulers, we have the elite universities to take care of that.
But the
But
the elite universities,
despite that, okay.
maybe originally, because like the first like Russell Muhares has this book called Waiting for McKeeling.
Okay.
There's a chapter there which talks about the education, the first first Western educated individuals were the datus and their sons.
Oh.
So these were like early 17th century perhaps.
Okay.
Because again, it was the same even during that time. Education was always for the rulers.
Okay.
So the rulers had to say. So now it's like feels so unfair, because like especially with the American mindset, like everyone has to be educated.
Okay.
So, but it was a practical choice. If you wanna Christianize or change society, and that society is already built on that framework, which is the same in Rome and in Europe before the success of liberal democracy, or the domination of liberal democracy, or this modern world of mass education. So this bee is like attracted to me for some reason. I don't know why. Why doesn't he?
It's policing you because you're thinking outside the box.
Yeah. So this is a normie bee. So the normies always.
Do I sell it away or?
The normies always what you call this are the ones who lynch prophets. You can also sacrifice kings. Anyone who tries to go against the
Who stands out?
yeah.
Okay.
So anyhow, where were we? So the similarities of like the 16th, 17th century pre-Philippines, and then the world of like pre-modern Europe or early modern Europe are sort of the same. So the importance of the rulers and the influence you could gain by their education. That's how we change society.
And
so the elite schools now are like, most of them are not going to be rulers.
right.
Yeah,
Right,
you
that's
went
true.
to an elite school. I don't know
Is
if
that
you'll be
elite?
a ruler yet.
Is that
You're now a professor. You're like you're more like Aristotle than Alexander, no?
Okay.
So but
Yeah, because what maybe going back to the idea of these strong rulers, but were nonetheless good, even if they transgress our modern ideals of power. So what does the morality of a strong ruler during that time, pre-modern Europe, or the first datus educated, etc. What does it look like? What's their morality like in contrast to what we perceive as lawful within liberal democracy? They're normally more willing to exercise power. Someone from the present times could look at them as authoritarian, right? Even though they're just exercising the power that in reality they do have. Well, for the sake of certain goals, good ones, sometimes not good, but in general good, no? This reminds me of something that Adrian Vermeule wrote. He's a Harvard law professor. The book I mentioned before, Common Good Constitutionalism, he wrote elsewhere, I'm not sure if he wrote in that book, that the president, as being the executive, needs to be able to exercise that power more freely. Of course, there's still rule of law, etc. But rule of law does not necessarily mean that you subscribe to the liberal democratic way of understanding it. So there's this, at least this post-liberal movement, seems to me like trying to give this is just one version of post-liberalism, by the way. These powerful men more leeway to actually exercise their power, which it just reminds me of what you were of how you were describing the local rulers in previous times. Might be a promising thing to look at.
Yeah, to make it like more practical, I think at each like level of power, you could have the same like perspective of like the playbook.
Okay.
Because even if like if you're
You want to swat it away.
even if you're like operating as a head of a business, if you're operating as like a head of an institution, any leadership position, you could still, I think it's good to operate on perennial principles rather than
Okay.
historically constrained rules.
I understand.
No, because
And
it's
be
like,
willing to take that risk of some people branding you as
no, by the fact that you are there and you want that. I mean,
yeah,
that's part
should
of
be
the
willing.
that's
Okay.
part of the game.
I understand.
I mean, you will there's this Japanese saying, I don't know if it's real, that a man is measured by the number of enemies he has, or something like that.
Okay.
Like if you don't have enemies, you're not a man, or something like that. So that's a very like
I see.
that mindset is designed for rulers, meaning it's like you shouldn't be afraid to make enemies. But if for citizens, you don't want that. It's like you want peace. So yeah, it's just, I think that's the I don't
line.
I'm at the edge of what I know about this thing. I'm just like exploring these new possibilities for myself and possibly for some of my friends. Like it's like, if you're gonna play this game, what should help you? I still don't know. Maybe the chivalry would be probably, again. So this is what the point I wanted to make earlier. They found a solution because like the Roman ruler, was sort of like we mentioned like Machiavelli in the previous conversation. It turns out he was not simply rebelling against this Christian ideal of like of like ruling as a sort of like
an exemplar of virtue, success.
Yeah, or like just there's a practical game
Okay.
of rule and power, and that wasn't a rebellion against the Christianity of his time.
You were saying
that
he was documenting.
That was my initial impression until I read this dissertation
Mm.
which used him to describe the playbook of Lopez de Legazpi.
Okay.
And it was just a continuous tradition from the Roman times.
You
So-
mean ancient Rome?
Ancient Rome,
Okay.
their playbook of how to wield power, how to gain and wield power,
Mm.
it was just a continuous tradition of that.
Mm.
So maybe now we're reading it as some sort of like reaction against
Okay.
Christianity. When we say Machiavellian, is like without
Power
ethics or
trumps
whatever.
everything.
Yeah. So it was how Romans operated, and then this dissertation precisely said, like, the conquistadors, they were just following a long tradition of how to operate with power, but also they were grappling on how
Reconcile
that
it
means
with-
to be as a Christian.
Yeah.
Because they were very particular about law. Like you look at Lopez de Legazpi and how he operated. He was always justifying his actions based on some regulation. So they were given regulations by the monarchs of Spain. And this one, for instance, this is how what's his name? Bartolome de las Casas influenced, and the other guys there influenced how the conquests was done. It was through these regulations. Of course, these guys, like for instance, what's his name, Cortes and
Okay.
Pizarro. I mean, they were wild men, and they were.
Conquerors.
Lopez de Legazpi was much more conscientious
Conscientious. Yeah.
in following the rule book rather
Mm.
than si Cortes, but maybe he was the right guy for the job. Anyhow, yeah.
Okay, I see. That means, what I'm seeing is that from ancient Rome up to the present, there's always been this the Machiavellian way, so to speak, of
I think
gaining
we've lost
power.
that. Yeah, nah. Like,
But
or it's no longer
although-
formalized. So it was a formal set of like things you learn. It's documented and it's passed on as like informal knowledge
okay.
to our generations. But right now, I'm not sure if our rulers have that. Maybe they read the 48 Laws of Power or something like that. But that's a very
Or maybe they don't need to read those things, but as you mentioned, it's something that's being passed down from, as by apprenticeship,
yes, exactly. Yeah.
with
So
interacting with other politicians, etc.
yeah, but the
Human
thing is,
nature
that,
tends to play
yeah.
out in similar ways.
Yeah, but for instance, for someone who's thinking about how to help people do the right thing, it's like you are so limited if your only playbook is the one
now.
which is constrained by liberal democracy. But if you know how the rules of the past work outside of this historical timeline or this era,
Right.
then you could give options.
I think you're getting
Yeah.
at something, because if you say that ancient Rome was like that, and then comes Christianity, and then you have this medieval synthesis in the
Yes, yeah.
chivalrous man,
yeah,
maybe that's the way to go. At least one possible way.
yeah. So we'll
to
explore
live
that. I haven't
those
read the book, so
Principles.
let's read that book and then we could talk about it
Okay.
once we're done. Maybe the answer is there, and we could live more as like knights in this world. Okay, thanks. Rick is waiting for us. Okay.
Yeah, I think the general idea again is you were not really necessarily constrained by these super specific rules at this period of history, but we can live out those same perennial principles in a different way.
Yes.
And maybe
yeah.
looking at examples in the past.
There's a book,
Which
right,
one?
which I like, called, which is simpler, Chivalry.
Okay.
I'll send you a link. There's no digital copy.
Okay.
You have to order. I had to order like several copies
Okay.
because I had to. I gave it to some of my friends.
Do you know who the author is?
His name is in online is he carries the what you call this, the name Chivalry Guild.
Okay.
I forget his actual name, but the book is his pseudonym there is something of Cappadocia. Ignatius, or what was the George of Cappadocia. Yeah,
Okay.
Saint George.
Ah,
He carries the name of Saint George
okay.
in the
I
book.
see, I
That's his
see.
pseudonym. But anyway, so that's the easy read, which is you could give to young people.
Okay.
I like it. But maybe the more scholarly thing is the
Okay.
one I sent to you. So
Yeah,
let's
Chivalry
maybe
and
we
the
read that and
thir-
then we'll
from the
see
1300s
what happens. Yeah.
to the okay.
All right. Cool.
Thank you.